What is going on, everybody? This is Nicodemus, the king of indies himself, with the Double XP podcast. And today we got a special interview for you guys. We have a special guest on with us by the name of Will Dube. He is working on a game called Sundered, which you guys have been hearing a lot about from tickgn.com and also my channel and Fame's channel as well. Oh yeah, and also I got my buddy Fame up in here as well. So we're gonna interview Will today and have a great time. So let's start with our guest, Will Dube. Will, what's going on? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself personally.
Hey everyone, my name is Will. I'm the founder and creative director at Lotus Games, and we're working on Sundered right now, which we're really excited about.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, and definitely thank you for coming on and just spend a little time with us today to talk about this fantastic looking game.
Oh, thank you, man. No, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
We are super excited about. I am. Nick knows I'm just giddy when it comes to this game.
yeah, really, man. And of course, we got my man Fame ENT up in here. If you don't know him, shame on you. But say what's up, Fame.
Hey guys, of course I am the co-host of the Double XP podcast with my brother, the king of indies, Nicodemus X. And yeah, man, we are excited to have Will Dube on today. This is a game that I have been giddy about since the end of January when I finally got my hands on it at PAX South. And I am really looking forward to talking more about not just Sundered, but Thunder Lotus in general. So I hope you guys really enjoy. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. And make sure you're on the lookout for anything Thunder Lotus, and especially anything that is Sundered.
Awesome. So yeah, so speaking of PAX South, Will, do you remember our presence there at all? I'm just curious.
Yeah, man, I remember the crown. The crown is unforgettable.
I thought you would. For those of you that don't know, yeah, me and Fame went to PAX South, and I interviewed Will with the crown on in one of our interviews. So yeah, I was just wondering if you actually remembered me or not.
No, it's a good trademark.
Awesome. So, but we are here to really talk, really like Fame said, about Sundered, and also we wanted to get to know Thunder Lotus a little better as well. But first and foremost, Will, I would like for you to tell our viewers about Sundered, just a premise of the storyline and just the gameplay. Really, what's it about?
Yeah, so Sundered is a horrifying fight for survival and sanity. It's a replayable Metroidvania where you resist or embrace ancient eldritch powers. You play Esh, a wanderer in a ruined world, trapped in ever-changing caverns filled with hordes of terrifying enemies. And Sundered is coming to PS4 and PC this summer. Okay.
And so the thing about Sundered that I personally don't understand just yet is the powers. How's that going to work in the game?
So in Sundered, there are like Metroid-style abilities that you find in the world that help you, unlock new regions, allow you to explore a little more, and also help you in combat. And the whole tagline of the game is resist or embrace. So these abilities can be corrupted into more powerful eldritch versions, and that has impacts on the gameplay, but also on the story.
Okay. So going the bad way or the evil way makes you more powerful. So what if you choose to so embracing would be the evil way? Am I correct?
Well, what I think is cool about Sundered that it's kind of gray. Like it's not necessarily evil or good, but it's definitely a pretty classic like dark side type thing.
Okay. So would the resist be the dark side type way, and then the embrace, or vice versa?
I guess depending on how you interpret the world and the motivations of different factions. So in the world, there are these two different factions. There's the Eschaton, who are like these cultists, and there are the Valkyries, who are more like science, army-based. And then in the backstory, these guys have faced off, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But when you arrive into this weird place, you're playing Esh, and you kind of uncover, what you're arriving centuries later. So you're figuring out what happened here, what's the backstory, why were those two factions fighting for, and what were their motivations. So you can kind of decide who's right and who's wrong for yourself.
Okay.
One of the things I thought, I apologize. One of the things I thought was really amazing about this game was the music. It seems like it was very very dark and ominous in certain spots of the game, and I think that it just fit absolutely well with the game. Did you guys go for a specific type? Were you guys going for that dark and ominous sound when you guys were doing the music for this game?
Yeah, so that's definitely credit goes to Max LL, who's our composer, who we worked with on Jotun as well on our first game. And yeah, I think he's done a fantastic job so far. And we're still working on a lot of more music to integrate into the games for like specific gameplay moments and stuff like that. So what you played was very actually very early. But I think it's definitely that tone of action horror that we want to go get, kind of like the second Aliens movie, not the first one, which is more horror, but the second one, which is like a horror ambience but really action packed. So that's kind of the tone we're going for. Okay.
And speaking of the game and its mechanics and things like that, the world is procedurally generated, correct?
Yep, the overall structure of the world is set in stone, and then subsections are procedurally generated. So every time you die, they reshuffle.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, but the core story and everything is the same.
Exactly. Yeah, that is not procedural. The story is not procedurally generated. All the monsters are though, and all the hordes that happen in the game, most of them are procedurally generated.
Okay, what made you guys choose to do that this time around? Because Jotun wasn't like that. So what made you guys want to go with this procedurally generated? Was it because you wanted things to be fresh and different every time the player played, to where they wouldn't get bored with it, or what was it exactly?
So when we launched Jotun, we were obviously really happy with how things went, and we really wanted to build on Jotun's strengths and improve on what we thought didn't go as well. So obviously things that went well for Jotun, the art style, the big boss fights, the Norse mythology, the immersion, the soundtrack, and the feel you have when you're in the game. However, what didn't work so well for the game was that it was even though we had like great coverage of the game from influencers, streamers, and stuff like that, they basically played for 4 or 5 hours, finished the game, and then moved on. Also, people watching gameplay videos or Let's Plays and stuff like that didn't necessarily have an incentive to go play the game for themselves, because it's a linear, very narrative-driven game. So people who watched it on YouTube kind of got the full experience. So we wanted to make sure that we're keeping the strengths of Jotun, but adding a ton of replayability to increase that gameplay time for streamers and for players as well, so they get more gameplay per dollar, and also have a lot more player choice. So that's where the whole resist or embrace idea came in. Like, okay, you can choose to corrupt your abilities or to not corrupt them. You can choose where you spend your points in the skill tree. And I mean, I'm Diablo 2 is my favorite game of all time, and I'm a big fan of skill trees and stuff like that. So we were just stoked to be able to make a game that had more systems than Jotun, and it has a lot more meat to it than Jotun did.
Nice.
Now, I have a quick question as far as the skill tree goes, and this is, I guess, it's more of a personal question because I did get to experience this part of myself. But it seems that when I died, which was a few times playing it at PAX, that seems to be when you can address the skill tree. Are you able to address it in between levels as well, or is it, hey, when you die, you come back that much stronger because you get to use those skill points to make yourself that much stronger?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely the core gameplay loop is go out, explore, and collect shards, and then when you die, you respawn in Sanctuary, in the game's central place, where you can access the skill tree, upgrade your skills, get better, and go a bit further the next time. The skill tree you can actually get back to the hub at any time. We didn't lock you out, but usually most players are going to be dying and then going back there.
Okay. I think that's just an awesome way to do the game. I mean, me personally, I don't see myself doing it otherwise. Stuff. Let's say I'm dying. I want to go and collect as much as I can and do as much as I can, then die, then come back and just feel like I'm just that much of a juggernaut now that you killed me before, but now I'm back to destroy everything in my path. Which one thing I love about this game is that it has moments where it's just hordes and hordes and hordes of enemies. I think that's the absolutely amazing thing about the game. That you may go somewhere, you're like, oh crap, I'm getting my butt whooped. You die, you come back that much stronger. I think it's an absolutely amazing part of the game.
Yeah, when I played that demo, I know what part you're talking about, Fame. When we played that demo, and I can't remember, but you dropped down in this cavern, a lot of red, and had the statue in the back with the arm in the air, and all these enemies just fly at you from everywhere. So yeah, I totally got my butt kicked the first time. I went back to the skill tree, upgraded some stuff, went down. I lasted a little longer.
You're like, I'm back.
I'm back. I lasted a little longer. Die back to the skill tree. Came back. Lasted a little longer. I didn't finish the section, but I can definitely see the potential there to be like, okay, I'm coming back for revenge.
It's just an amazing feeling as a
about to embrace this ass whooping. That's what's going to happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed that, and that's really core to the game is those hordes of monsters and that feeling of always getting better and that feeling of wanting to go back for one more run. Those are all really the core experiences we want you to feel when you're playing the game.
Yeah, I like that you guys did actually look into that, take feedback, especially like from YouTubers, streamers, and you were actually looking at those analytics to improve, the game and learn from, not the mistakes from Jotun, but just learn from how you can make this game better than Jotun and actually, last longer and things like that. So I do appreciate that. And I didn't really think about, developers actually looking into that deep of detail, like actually looking at, how long streamers are watching it and just feedback from that community. I didn't really think that you guys really went into those deep details, but that's pretty cool to know.
Yeah, we definitely do. We try and keep our ear to the ground and to gather as much feedback and data and impressions. And yeah, and Sundered is not, it's not Jotun 2, but we're still building on Jotun, and we want to improve as a studio and to make sure that people are enjoying our games more.
Awesome. One thing. Oh, go ahead, Fame. You have one?
Oh no, I was gonna actually, while we're bringing up Jotun, I want to ask him about the hand-drawn art style. You guys between Sundered and Jotun, you guys did go with the hand-drawn art style, which is more difficult than a I guess you would say traditional way. Like, what makes you guys go the hand-drawn art style instead of the traditional, I guess, quote unquote, easier way of doing things?
Well, for us, it's a direct. It comes from our artists. We have some amazing 2D artists. We're super lucky to have them on our team who can produce this really great 2D art. It's something that's a bit more unique too, that not everyone does. There are more and more really high quality 2D games coming out, but it's something that we love. We're huge fans of traditional animation and Disney movies and even like any art style, but really, I think it comes from our team and from our talented artists.
I definitely love that hand-drawn art style. I wouldn't say a lot of developers are doing it, but you're starting to see a resurgence of that. Like, I don't know if you paid attention to the guys at Lizard Cube with the Wonder Boy game that they put out. That was absolutely beautifully done, and Jotun was beautifully done as well, and so is Sundered. I definitely do appreciate the time you guys put into that to deliver a high quality product, because I know it's not easy. Definitely. So.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's never easy, and there are challenges in 2D that 3D wouldn't have, or the other way around. So at the end of the day, it really kind of depends. It's not necessarily. We did talk about it and be like, hey, is it actually faster to be just 2D, or is it faster to be in 3D and stuff like that? And it's really a trade-off of multiple different things, challenges in production. But I think at the end of the day, what's really cool about the 2D hand-drawn art style is that gamers have a direct connection to the artists. Like, every line you see there has been put there, and I think that's a really cool connection that the artist can get with, and a very personal connection that the artist can get with gamers.
Nice, because gaming is art.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of art.
Definitely. All right, so with Jotun, you went through Kickstarter, and also with Sundered, you went through Kickstarter. So how did it help? Like, how did the Kickstarter this time help get Sundered to where it is like right now?
So yeah, so it was definitely a different process. When we did Jotun, Kickstarter was really the beginning that allowed us to move forward. Whereas with Sundered, we're coming in a bit further down the line with our Kickstarter, and the goal of Sundered's Kickstarter was really to get alpha and beta testers on board to get the feedback from the community to make sure that we're making the game the best it can be before launch. So we're testing that. So we sent out the alpha right after the campaign at the end of February, I think. And we got a ton of feedback from that allowed us to really focus and to figure out exactly where the problems were with the game. And we sent out the beta 2 weeks ago now, I think.
Yeah.
And again, like a ton of feedback. And what's really interesting and really important for us is that the beta is the first region of the game. So it's like a tutorial and the basic mechanics and going through that loop the first time. So we actually ended up making a lot of changes to make sure that players are understanding what they need to do, what the goals are, where they have to go, do they understand like how the skill tree works and how the abilities work and all that, and difficulty balancing with the skill tree and the perks and all the different procedurally spawned monsters and the boss fights and the mini bosses. There's just a ton of different systems that need to be balanced, and the beta has been really fantastic for that.
Now, obviously, we know the biggest pro of using Kickstarter is it helps get the game to gamers. That's the biggest pro of using Kickstarter. But are there any cons, now that you guys have used it for Jotun and Sundered? You guys seen any cons, maybe issues you guys maybe ran into going the route of Kickstarter?
We haven't had any problems with it. I'd say the biggest downside to using Kickstarter is that it's just a massive time investment. It's a lot of effort. You know, to prepare for the campaign, to do the rewards, to make sure that, you know, it's kind of like a mini launch. Like all the efforts you need to put into launching your game, you need to put into launching your Kickstarter campaign as well. So it is a really big undertaking. But once again, like you said, like now I think that what doing both Kickstarters for both games has shown us is that Kickstarter is not about the money at all. It's really about the community of gamers that you can build up and that who will follow you. So we had a ton of backers who supported Jotun, who also supported Sundered, and we were able to give them like a special deal, a special promo where if they backed, if you were a Jotun backer and you backed Sundered within the first 24 hours, well, you get alpha access for free, basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that kind of stuff. So it's a really great way to communicate directly with our fans and to find our most hardcore fans who really want to help us, and we're super grateful for their support.
Awesome, nice.
So, just to kind of no, go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna ask. So with that being said, Kickstarter is something that you guys definitely are going to continue to do in the future for future games to launch, basically in a sense, pre-launch your games.
I mean, it's possible. It always depends, right? Like some people obviously say Kickstarter is dead. No. It's never going to be as good as it was in 2012 or 2013 and that kind of explosion. But I think the truth is it's just like now it's kind of leveled out and it's kind of now I think Kickstarter is a really stable platform at this point. And I think as long as that we see that there's, you know, obviously a ton of value in it for us, and that gamers and that our players are still like interested in Kickstarter, and they're not like, well, you guys are too big for Kickstarter. You shouldn't be doing Kickstarter anymore. You shouldn't ask us for money again. Like as long as we don't hit that kind of issue, I mean, they're a huge upside to using a Kickstarter. So we would definitely use it again.
Okay, as long as the feedback, you know, is positive and community is okay. It seems like you guys are really in tune with the community. So as long as you feel like it's something that's going to benefit the community, you're going to continue to do it. That's the way I'm interpreting this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's about respect, right? Like if it gets to a point where it doesn't make sense, and our number one priority as a studio is to make sure our players are happy. Because if our players aren't happy, then, you know, we won't sell games and then we won't exist, right? So that's the most important thing. So, I mean, that it kind of ties into that philosophy of being like player first.
Gotcha.
I have a quick question about Sundered. Of course, we know the campaign mode which we played at PAX South. I had a question: would there be other modes in the game? It seems like this game would be perfect to have a separate, just a horde mode. How long can you last? Or anything like that be in the game? Or you guys thought about doing anything like that? with this game?
We've talked about doing a few different things. Again, for launch, we're really focusing on having a really solid, story and run through. And as I said, if you choose to resist or embrace, it will impact the story and the ending you get. So there are multiple endings in the game. So there's a lot of replayability there. And post-launch, we'll definitely be looking at ways of having an update or doing maybe like a DLC or an expansion or something like that. It really depends on how the game does.
So what you're saying is that you don't have a full game right now, and you're breaking it up into pieces. You pretty much what you have right now is we're getting everything, and maybe later we'll get some actual DLC that you guys create. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. For launch, I mean, it's a full experience. It's a full game. At launch with Sundered, you'll be getting a full game experience. Definitely no day one DLC.
Sounds good. This is why I go indie, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of launch, you guys have a release date or release window for fans who are just as giddy as I am to get back into Sundered? For those who have been fortunate enough to have a PC to play the beta in all its glory as it should be played.
We're looking at July right now, but the exact date has not yet been set in stone.
Will, what's going on? Like, this is May. Like, when you guys gotta get an exact date? I've been here in July for like 2 months now.
We're keeping the tension, man. We're keeping the.
You know what date is coming out.
Let's not pressure Will into breaking news at TICGN.com.
All right.
So I guess to tack on, and you may or may not be able to answer this, is there a price point set for Sundered?
Yeah, we're looking at $20, so $19.99 USD.
Yeah, me and Fame talked about that earlier. We were like, yeah, it's gonna be $20. We were both right this time. Usually I'm the one that's right though.
And then I'm not sure if Nick has any more questions, but I know me for sure. I have to ask this because I am the resident ask this question guy. So we know Sundered is releasing on PC and PlayStation 4. Are there any plans of it possibly coming to other platforms, i.e., the Xbox or Nintendo or Nintendo Switch?
So we have a timed exclusivity with Sony on PS4, console exclusivity. So for now, we're really focusing on the PS4, and we'll see what happens in the future.
I like that answer, sir.
It's not a no. It's a maybe. It's a possibility. So it's open. Awesome. All right. So Will, definitely want to thank you for coming on and chatting with us about Sundered today. We definitely did learn a lot. Learned a lot about the skill tree, the corruptible abilities, which I needed more clarification on. I think our viewers learned a lot as well, and also about you guys as a company, Thunder Lotus. I've been following you guys since Jotun. I absolutely love that game, and so I was definitely hyped, to hear that you guys were coming out with Sundered. And when I saw that gameplay, I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally different. I love the direction they're going in. So it's definitely good to, get to know the game a little more. And yeah, I'm definitely personally looking forward to it. I will be getting it on PlayStation 4 because I don't have the glorious PC yet, but I'll be getting on PlayStation 4. And I just want to personally thank you from the King of Indies for coming on and talking with us today.
No, man, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And of course, my man, Fame ENT, your closing remarks for the evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm just thankful, Mr. Dube, for talking with us. Taking time out of your day to talking with us. I am really looking forward to this game. I cannot wait. I will be a day one buyer on a PS4. And I tend to double dip if and when there maybe be other places to play this game on. I will be a double dipper. But thanks again for talking with us, and we cannot wait for all of our followers on TICGN.com and the TIC Network to hear more about this game. And hopefully, even if it was one other person that goes and Google and types in Sundered, they're one of the person. We appreciate you guys for going to check out this game, because Thunder Lotus, they do a lot of hard work, and we really want you guys to open up your wallets and for your appreciation.
Open up your wallets and hearts.
There you go.
Well, this has been a double XP special interview. This is Nicodemus. This is Fame ENT, and this is Will Dube. from Thunder Lotus Games, talking about Sundered. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys go to the website, tickgn.com, for all your gaming news, reviews, and opinionated pieces. And we are out of here, y'all. Thanks. Peace.